Good morning, afternoon, evening, Lakeview family. It is Wednesday, January 11th. We're in 23. This is crazy. Just my weekly check-in video. I hope you enjoyed our service on Sunday. Had a lot of feedback from people. It's different for sure. It's not a common thing, and that's on purpose. And I think as we pursue our mission, which is be disciples, make disciples, love our neighbors, as we seek to do what Jesus both commanded and commissioned in his call to love neighbors and then to make disciples, there's things we do to make that happen. That doesn't just automatically happen. We have to be intentional as Christ followers, particularly, I think, in our context today, when we're just inundated from left and right by myriad messages that are shaping us into something other than followers of Christ. So Sunday was one of our kind of annual things that we do to help remind us who we are as the people of God and as those who claim the name of Christian. And we make a covenant. We renew that, and we boldly say that together. And there's something about corporately saying things that we believe, which we do often as a reminder of who we are as God's people. And so we will keep doing those kinds of things. And I'm excited for really the groundwork that service lays, that will every year we kind of come back around to remembering who we are. And I think it's so beautiful coming out of Advent, out of the recognizing the coming of Christ and our anticipation of his return, that we then covenant back to God, right? So we receive the gift of Christ every year. And then right after that, we just say back to God, we give ourselves to you as the people of God. And in the next coming weeks, over the next 6 weeks, a couple things are going to happen. One, there's going to be a series that we're starting that'll kind of continue this idea of this covenant relationship with God. And the title of it is Created to Abide. So we're going to jump off of what I talked about in my short little homily on Sunday in John 15. We'll extend that conversation and talk about how we are created to abide. We're created to be connected to the vine. And then we'll talk about a rhythm of discipleship, which includes 4 things that we are starting to, as a staff, think about as our staff culture, how we relate to each other, and also the culture of who we are as Lakeview Nazarenes who are pursuing relationship with Christ. And out of this idea of abiding and being disciples, it's how do we be in Christ? How do we belong? How do we become? And then last, how do we behave? And there's those 4 things that we'll talk about over the coming 6 weeks, because 2 of those weeks will have special speakers. One that's connecting us with our work through Matthew 25 into our community. And there's an individual named Tim Snowbarger. You'll hear more about this on Sunday and next Sunday. He's from Wyoming and runs a compassion ministry there and has done some great work at identifying in their community and helping others in their communities identify gaps where the church can step in and be the hands and feet of Jesus. And I'm excited about that. Pastor Gretchen does an incredible job leading Matthew 25 and the ministry we have to our community. And our hope is, as a church, to see how we can continue to grow that as we seek to love our neighbors, just trying to live out our mission. And then also, in that time frame on the 12th of February, we'll have Faith Promise, and we'll hear from, and you'll hear more about this coming up, but our speakers will be Brendan and Emily Blowers, who have been missionaries and currently attend Vida Nueva Church of the Nazarene in North Nampa. And so excited for that, talking about missions, because this idea of being disciples means that we go out, right, and we take this message of hope and restoration and reconciliation and redemption to our parish, to our community. So the ways in which we are serving those around us, as well as seeking how does this change things around the world, and how are we partnering with what God is doing around the world. So a lot of great things coming up. So I hope you come. And as we're talking about this rhythm of discipleship, this idea of be, belong, become, and behave, we're also going to be launching some new initiatives for discipleship, whether that's opportunities for one-on-one discipleship. The staff is seeking to be more engaged with all of the church, trying to encourage each of us as members and attendees of Lakeview to be in some kind of intentional discipling relationship. And sometimes That doesn't happen within the context of the church. For example, I'm in a men's kind of discipleship group. I've been in almost 10 years, and I'm not stopping that. This is a relationship that I've been embedded in for years, and it's not, the other members of this do not attend Lakeview, and that's okay. Like, again, we're called to be disciples and make disciples, and that isn't always going to happen inside four walls, and that should excite us. That should help us see that we're a part of something much bigger than just our local church. But we have a responsibility to care for. I, as lead pastor, have a responsibility for those entrusted to my care, to make sure that we're all invited to and not forced, but invited and really encouraged to be tending to our personal growth and are called to be disciples and make disciples and love our neighbors. So you'll be hearing about groups that are starting, small group opportunities for one-on-one discipleship, new classes, all these kinds of things that will slowly percolate. And we're going to do kind of like assessment is really not the word I like, but it makes the most sense. But we're going to as a church look at where are we all at, so that we know, because you can't grow, right, unless you know where you're starting. You can't find the next steps of what Christ is calling and wanting to do in you when you aren't honest with yourself and in a trusted relationship with where you are currently. So we're going to do some of those things, and I hope, again, these aren't things that will be forced, but that will be really encouraged, and I hope that that's encouraging for you, even if it's maybe a little bit uncomfortable, because it means opening yourself up and sharing. But man, I just hope that we're all recognizing that what we're trying to do is to create environments that look like Jesus, that are places of trust and love and grace and encouragement, and that the reality is these conversations, sometimes that are hard, are to help us become who God has created and called us to be. So that's where we're going in the next couple of weeks. I'm really excited, and I look forward to seeing you all on Sunday, and we will check you later. Blessings.